Hey guys, I didn't get a chance to make a video about this yesterday, the day before. I was a bit busy, but this has to be addressed. Roddy Piper dying at the age 61. This is really sad. At least for me. I mean, I think a lot of other people shouldn't really say that. This is a legendary wrestler in every sense of the word. Now, this was a wrestler with a lot of problems. He had cancer. He had demons, so to speak. Piper had been through a lot in and out of the WWE, being, released, rehired. It was total insanity. The relationship between Roddy Piper and Vince McMahon was like Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, but in real life. He came back for Legends House, and we learned a little bit about Piper's depression. And Piper seemed like a real person. A type of guy that has problems with his life, but seems like a good guy at the end of the day. But sadly enough, he's not with us anymore. And supposedly he was cancer free at the time of his death. He had been diagnosed with lymphoma back in 2006, and now he's sadly gone. Now, I feel that there wouldn't be an Attitude Era without Roddy Piper. See, during the 80s, there was not that many convincing villains. You had some, like, over-the-top villains that didn't really seem all that realistic. You had the Iron Sheik, but he was a bit cartoonish. A couple of villains, but they all seemed to be a bit cartoony. Now, that's not to say Piper was deep, dark, and, overly psychological, but the guy did bring a psychological villainy to his character, and he showed a lot of attitude. And you could see with the invention of his talk show, Piper's Pit, it was one of the first, if not the first ever, probably the first successful talk show, maybe the only, successful talk show, maybe the highlight reel, and maybe a very few others. But you could see that a guy like Piper knew how to do this type of segment. And of course, the cracking the coconut over Jimmy Snuka's head was a shocking moment at the time, because nothing like that had really been done before up to that point. And he kept pushing the envelope, and that's what Piper did. He kept pushing the envelope. He was always in very shocking things. WrestleMania 12, for example, his backlot brawl with Goldust. That was, another outrageous match, which, nobody really expected to see anything like that at the time, and that was pre-Attitude Era. We have a lot to thank Piper for. I mean, he was involved in some of the most controversial moments in the history of the company. So many different moments involving Piper, whether they were negative or positive. He left a mark on the business like no other. I believe that Piper's probably better known for his personality more than his actual wrestling. Now, that's not to take a knock at him, but I will say that, his personality definitely overshined everything else when it came to Piper. And there would be no wrestling now if it wasn't for Roddy Piper. Because then there wouldn't have been any WrestleMania 1, for example. We wouldn't have been able to have that match at WrestleMania 1 without Roddy Piper. We wouldn't be all the way up to where we are now at WrestleMania, with WrestleMania 32, which is going to be coming in 2016. We just, a couple of months ago, just had WrestleMania 31. Now think about that. Without Piper, that wouldn't be possible. McMahon wouldn't have been able to really accomplish the popularity that the first WrestleMania garnered because of Piper. Without Piper, that wouldn't have been possible. So, rest in peace, Piper. Really, rest in peace. I mean, what a legend. A guy that gave so much to the business, so much to other wrestlers in terms of them being able to develop their personality and inspiring them to become better villains, inspiring them to become better personalities. Piper just left a mark on this business that no one else is really going to be able to accomplish in quite the same way. Rest in peace, Roddy Piper. You'll never be forgotten.